I got another question for you though.
Fire away.
And I know that's a hard that sounded like it was a hard one for you. So, um, you in what you do, you talk with a lot of people, and uh, I've noticed as I do this work, I notice there's certain human traits that we maybe are lacking or that are common. And what is like one of your biggest insights that you've had over the last 5 years? Like what is kind of that one is like, I wish I had known this earlier on.
Um, I have a couple. The first
Great.
one, yes, the first one is that I remembered another one. So, anyways, but the first one is that sometimes we're too serious with ourselves. Sometimes we need to, as the person who taught me this, is to live a little. Sometimes we're too serious or afraid of doing something, as you were rightfully highlighting, that we end up not doing it for, I would say, the wrong reasons in the long term, but you would realize that there are the wrong reasons in due time, and that moment in time would have slipped away, and it would be too late to do what you would like to do. So if you ever wanted to do bungee jumping, for example, just go for it. There's no there's no use in thinking about it.
No.
No, the hard
No
no.
bungee jumping for me. But
No bungee jumping.
not there yet.
Skydiving?
Okay. No.
No, afraid of
No.
heights, I guess. All right. Or hiking? Do you enjoy hiking?
I love hiking. Yeah.
All right, so you might do the El Camino, for example, or a hike in the mountains, or anyway.
I'll get to that. Yeah, you finish your thing, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure. And so that's one thing. Another thing another lesson that comes to mind is, so last July, I've lost one of my dogs, and I had 3 dogs, now I have 2. And you've mentioned the loss of a pet, and I mean it happens, but it taught me something. It taught me something very important, and it's something that I knew, but it's like the wake-up call I've mentioned before. I came to realize that it's easier to live with disappointment rather than regret. Sometimes we're in a position where we don't give our 100%, or we say, okay, and we take things for granted, basically. And it's easier to live with the disappointment of trying your best but not succeeding, rather than the regret of, I could have done something better. I could have done that. It's easier to live with disappointment than regret. So that's something that I've learned, because there are things that I could have done better. I feel I could have done better. Some people disagreed with me when I said this, especially through the story. But I mean, you always feel like you could have done something better. But it taught me, that situation taught me this lesson.
Yeah. I I think it's. Thank you for sharing that. There's just my mind's wide open right now on a whole bunch of things. I think when we look at those times where, and I've never thought this before until you just said it, it's not so much that you knew, it's that moving forward you can do. And I think a lot of times we're like, I know I should have done this, or you should, I call it shooting on yourself, because it's just so, we just beat ourselves up. But a lot of times when these things are happening for us, we tend to go like, I wish I had done it before. Great, it sucks. But now you have that gift going forward. It happened for you, so that you can escape that and start moving forward in a different way. And that's really powerful. And sometimes the pain of losing a pet or just loss in general can really wake us up to certain things and go, wow, yeah, I can do differently now. I knew that I could, but now I'm going to, and that's a big thing. Like I think as kids we always had that. It's like, why didn't you? Your teacher would come up to you and go, why did you do that? And you go, I don't know. And it's like, you knew better. I'm like, yep. But why'd you do it? I'm like, I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do the better thing. I just knew what I could just do what I do. So that's it. And it's so funny you mentioned the El Camino Trail. I was just listening to the book. I get books through the Libby app in North America.
Okay.
Library, so free audiobooks. I'm always listening to an audiobook. And the Schwarzenegger one I'm listening to is actually, I thought it was his biography when I subscribed to it, but it's not.
Okay.
It's like a personal growth book, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But he mentions going on the El Camino Trail, and I'd heard of it a few years ago, but when I thought, like, that would be interesting to do, but when I hear it twice from two completely different sources within an hour, I gotta look
like a
into
calling.
walking the El Camino Trail now. So yeah, I'm like, okay, that might be. I'm lots of things to look at the airport instead of the pizza at this point. So that's good.
Yes, you can easily distract yourself now.
Exactly.